All right, what is up, Utes fans? This is Joseph back with the Utah Utes Football Digest. Excited to be back talking with you guys. Pretty exciting week, another one, right? Really starting to get some content that we could talk about. Let me try to mess with this. That's a little better. All right, great. Whatever. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not a lighting expert. Oh, so it's the other side of my face. That's probably why I was having problems. Okay. All right, guys. So, what is up? So, excited to be back talking football with you guys. Scott, thanks for jumping in. I saw your comments today, Scott. Glad to have you here, man. Let's go Utes. Yeah, let's definitely go Utes. With that, while we're getting some more people in, I figured I'd just share a little story with you guys. If you're in the Utah Valley, you probably know, just like anywhere in the country, no matter where you guys are, that car buying is rough go right now, right? It is basically like if you want a used car, a new car, whatever you want, it is a rough go. And no, I'm not going to give you guys an advertisement to try to sell you cars. I'm just going to tell you guys a story about what just happened while we get more people in. So we were, my wife, my child, and I, we just went to a car dealership, drove a couple cars, right? We've been driving cars for about a week now, trying to find the one that we really like, right? Um, and we kind of found one that I really liked, but you know, if you guys are anything like me, you're not going to get anything without getting a real good deal on it. So I sat down with the guy, and we shot some numbers back and forth, and we just couldn't make it work. I mean, I wanted a pretty aggressive deal. It was already a good deal on the car, and I was trying to get it for quite a bit less than they were advertising it for. So maybe I was being a bit of a stickler there, but in all actuality, I stuck to my guns. It was just kind of an exciting process. I just got back from that. It's kind of why I'm sharing that with you guys. So that was fun. But now I'm here to talk some football. So excited to have you guys in here. Make sure you guys like the video, gets it out to more people. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys comment, join the chat. Seriously, guys, that's what makes these fun. Scott jumped in a minute ago, said, let's go Utes. I want all you guys in it. Rage Onion, I've seen your comments lately. Go Utes. Love it, baby. All right, awesome, guys. And make sure you guys all jump in the chat, like the video. Let's get it out to more people. But now let's talk about, some of the events that have been going on this week. A lot of really exciting stuff happened this week. First thing to drop was a PWO signing, which is, if you guys don't know, it's preferred walk-on. Basically, that means, it's not a normal walk-on. What a preferred walk-on, it's like an offer. It's basically like we weren't quite ready to give you a scholarship, but we wanted to offer you the preferred walk-on that we do want you on the team, and you're going to have an edge over the other walk-ons if all else is equal, if that makes sense. Larry Pilgrim, present. Larry, always appreciate your commentary. Larry's always got inside scoops. Bridger Bell Knapp. Now, I'm pretty sure this is your first time commenting on one of the videos, man. Welcome in. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the Utah Utes Football Digest. Always a good time here. And as you guys come in, like I said, make sure you like, comment in the chat, join the chat. We'll have a lot of fun tonight. And any questions, guys? I'm going to make tonight a little more relaxed. Really, any questions? Let's just go with it. I'm going to recap. Yep, Bridger says, sure is. First time here, man. Glad to have you. We're going to make tonight really fun. Love the vids. Hey, thanks, Bridger. I'm glad you like them, man. I like making them for you guys. So with that, guys, let's go ahead and talk about this first guy, Kai Hanohano. I think technically his name is Kaimana Hanohano. A guy that, had very little total highlights, right? It wasn't a lot of highlights for the kid, but overall, he, a really good player, a guy that looked like he could be, solid, some athletic upside, right? And like I said, who knows what'll happen with him? But he, 6'2", He was listed at 200 pounds in the video I saw. Here it's saying 195. You can see some of the highlights there in the upper right-hand corner, but looks like a really solid player, guys. Looks like a guy that didn't get a lot of love in that offense for whatever reason it might be, and could be a diamond in the rough, but definitely a guy that's going to be a little more of a project, right? He had that rare ability to hit him short, hit him deep, hit him over the middle, run really crisp routes, but it was in a very small sample size. If you guys watched the video I made on him, you kind of know what I'm talking about there. And just so you guys know, I had to dig for those highlights. I'm sure you guys are kind of annoyed how few highlights there were. I really had to dig. I had to go through like 5 different videos and just record them just to get the highlights I was looking for. So yeah, and there might have been 1 or 2 more that I missed out on, but I really tried to get all the ones I could for you guys. But Kaimana Hanohano looks like a solid player, right? If you guys caught the video I made earlier this week, only like a little over 200 yards in the season, or a little less than 300. So you'd like a bigger sample size, but the kid looks solid. I'm not going to touch too much more on Kai, but definitely a guy that we should all be excited that we're bringing in, right? One thing this week told me is the Utah football program is committed to adding as much talent at wide receiver as possible, right? This program really wants to bring in high-level wide receivers and just load that up. I mean, you guys can count it up for me, but we've been making these videos for almost a year now. How many Utah Utes recruiting videos have been about a wide receiver? I could think of at least 5 or 6 off the top of my head. And that's just one recruiting class with 5 or 6 receivers coming in. So definitely a good look there, guys. But I got to tell you, so as much as I am excited about Kai, there was a kid that really stole the show for me. I'm going to put him up on the screen here, guys. He is looking like a beast. Honestly, let me get him up here. Boom. His name is Matthew Clark. Did you guys get a chance to check out that video? If you guys did, I'm going to put the question down on the screen here. Let me add it on. All right, if you guys haven't watched already, Matthew Clark looks like a beast. Seriously, the kid had a really good highlight reel. Honestly, sometimes you watch a preferred walk-on and it makes kind of sense why they're preferred walk-on, right? There's this, there's that. You kind of just watch it. It kind of tells the story, right? You realize by the end of the film, there's some tools there, some raw potential, but either the sample size is small or it needs a lot of work before it's there. Matthew Clark, that did not seem like the case. He's a smaller guy. Rage Onion just commented, saw the vid on Clark, and he seems like a great player with amazing route running. Yeah, Rage Onion. I couldn't agree more, right? I was really hyped watching his video, right? When I was watching Kai, as much as I liked Kai's tape, there wasn't a lot there, right? There wasn't a lot of film to watch. Matthew Clark, I cut it off halfway through and felt like we had more than enough highlights we had already seen, right, guys? It was a really, really impressive tape, especially for a preferred walk-on. Larry says, haven't had a super receiver since Carrington, but Covey was somewhat a great receiver. Yeah, I'd say definitely Covey was a good receiver, like a good, solid receiver. He an amazing returner, a good receiver. And as we talk more about this, guys, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment in the chat. Seriously, guys, let's have some fun tonight. I want to keep it loose, and I really want to just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So drop the questions in the chat. The question right now is, what do you guys think of Matthew Clark? But Matthew Clark, like both of you guys kind of commented, he reminded me a lot of Covey, right? I think you always got to be careful when you see a guy. You don't want to compare him to a great player, a guy that really made his mark on Utah. Excuse me. But I think Clark, we didn't even talk about his return game. You know what? Why don't we make that a little special treat for you guys? let's talk about Matthew Clark's return game. Let's go look at some of his returns. That'll be fun. I didn't even really look at him, honestly. Scott, to get on the field at Utah, these wide receivers have to be solid run blockers. Yeah, absolutely. But don't forget, Scott, if you're an okay run blocker and not, great, or even maybe a little below average, but you're a real dynamic playmaker as a receiving weapon, they're going to find ways to get you in there, right? They're a smart coaching staff. They know how to use talent, right? And that was one thing about Matthew Clark. If you guys remember watching in that video there, he looked pretty damn good run blocking. He had that one run block, and so did Kai. Larry says Clark seems very smart. Going to see how he works on his snappiness out of his breaks. Yeah, I think his cuts could be a little quicker. I agree, but the great thing about that, right, is that's something you can train over time. Obviously, you never know if someone's going to get great at something, right? You can't guarantee, no matter how easy it seems, to get good at it. But in the same vein, you can never.
Vaping made my social anxieties 10 times worse. Jesus. I used to be stressed about going to school.
These vaping. Every time you go on Huddle, there's these vaping, don't vape advertisements. All right, but with that, yeah, so anyways, a little more about Matthew Clark. I haven't even really watched his return tape, so I don't even know how impressive it is. I'm guessing it's going to be pretty damn good. I think it's going to be fun to watch live with you guys. That'll be fun. But yeah, what I was saying about, cutting in and out of his breaks, Larry, I like that point, but that's something easy to teach. I think what's really hard to teach is his natural, intuitive ability to deceive people. And just so you guys know, anytime I share videos on here, it just looks so dang laggy. I'm sorry. There's nothing I could do about that. I've got the internet hardwired in. We got the, what's it called? Fiber optic. I mean, as good as it's going to get. I'm not sure what to do about that. It's just kind of how it goes. Yeah, it's pretty dang laggy. Let's just, all right, let's just cut that off. That was rough. That was a rough go there. All right. This is back out of that. And one more time. All right, back to his Twitter. Yeah, if you guys aren't following him yet, make sure you guys give him a follow at MattClark_6. Cool guy. He quote tweeted the video. We'll put that on the screen and shared it out. Just said he appreciated us. Hey, check it out here. Look, we'll zoom in. Yeah, he said, appreciate the review and all the compliments. I'm excited to play for Utah and show everyone what I can do. Yeah, honestly, there's a kid that has a lot to prove, but seems really capable of proving it. Justin, TYH, hey, finally I can catch a scream. I watch all the vids and the streams afterwards. Hey, awesome, man. Well, glad to have you here. We're going to have fun, man. Drop some questions in the chat, Justin. Anything you want to know about. Scott asks, where is Clark from? So Clark is from Mesa, Arizona, I believe. Yeah, Mesa, Arizona, it says here. So that's pretty cool. This is kind of how you have to do it. You got to find these diamonds in the rough, right? Especially when you're Utah. These can be big game changers for you. I'm just worried. Honestly, I'm going to be straight with you guys. With how good Clark is, I'd be surprised if someone doesn't offer him a scholarship. Like if he was a scholarship guy, I wouldn't stress. But the fact that he's a PWO, preferred walk-on, you really got to wonder if some other schools aren't going to be out there trying to snatch him up. But who knows? The thing is, the guy doesn't even have like a 24/7, the 24/7 sports. They usually have the profile with the grades, all that. He doesn't even have one of those. So like really under the radar. He must have been, nobody was talking about him. Justin says, I never realized how big Glover is until I saw an interview with him. Dude is jacked. Yeah, I talked about Jalen Glover. I've talked about him a lot of times. He's a guy I'm really excited about. I compared him a lot to Maurice Jones-Drew, right? He's a little like muscle tank, just a tiny little tank of muscle there. He is not going to be easy to tackle. He's going to be a guy that even as a freshman, he's like a junior size-wise. So I think he's going to make an immediate impact in that run game there. But then I do. So that's kind of all I wanted to talk about with Clark, guys. And if you guys haven't already, at Utah Utes Balling, that's the Twitter page I have for the Utah Utes Football Digest. Make sure you guys follow that as well if you're on Twitter. Also, there's a Facebook page, Utah Utes Football Digest, and Instagram at Utah Utes Balling. So make sure you guys follow that if you want to. And now let's talk about, Larry, crazy how Utah is getting these commits so far out. They never used to be getting this much attention from recruits. I mean, Larry, that happens. You you go to a Rose Bowl, that's a national televised football game. The whole world's watching, right? It's like top 3 football games. So it's a big deal. People are going to watch. People are going to want to be a part of it. McKay Head, I think we could have some great wide receivers, but I feel like we don't utilize them after the first or second drive. Feel like Ludwig falls into his comfort zone, running the ball and throwing a tight end. I think I would say, McKay, it's not a bad point, but Ludwig seems to be pretty damn good. Honestly, let's be real. That was a really good offense we had last year. If anything, the defense is what held our team back. That offense was great last year. And I think what I would look at is a guy that's doing this well on the offense with the run game and using the tight ends' weapons. Is it that he's not involving them, or they're not making themselves worth involving? Does that make sense? I mean, really take a look, McKay. They are just loading up freshman after freshman and transfer, Landon Morris. I mean, loading up at receiver, trying to get this room as much talent as possible. I'm not going to downplay anyone that's there. Hopefully some of these guys that have been on the team can take the next step at receiver, but I think it tells a story when you see them going, all in like that to get weapons. So that's what I would say to that, McKay. McKay, I think this might be your first time hopping in, so glad to have you. Justin agrees with McKay. He can see that. 22 Forever. What do you think about the hand-painted helmets? Oh, yeah, the ones with the TJAL. I thought those were really nice. I didn't get a really good look at them, but I glanced at them. I think I saw them on Twitter, something like that. So loading up the wide receiver. Justin says they're definitely rolling up the wide receiver room more than any, which is good. Yeah, I think that's going to be a room. Honestly, it's at a point where it's almost ridiculous, right? How many players they brought in there to play receiver. You got to wonder, maybe some of these guys that are athletes that we would imagine are going to play receiver won't be, or what the plan is there. And before we move on to the next topic, guys, make sure you like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. And seriously, join the chat. I always notice there's a bunch of people watching and a bunch of people aren't in the chat. So I would hope that you guys do join in the chat. I'm going to answer this thing from McKay, and then we'll move on to the next topic. I agree he's good. I just really want to see Vele and Solo get more balls. I feel like he wants to involve them, but he just gets into a different mode late in the game. Well, I won't argue with you there. I mean, we run the ball a lot, but I mean, McKay, let's ask the question. I mean, the run game's working, right? Why wouldn't we just keep running it? And our tight end room is so damn talented. Why wouldn't we just keep giving it to the tight ends? And but maybe it's Ludwig, maybe it's the talent. Personally, I watched a lot of Solo, and he's referring to Solomon Enos as Solo. He's not getting open that much. I'm going to be straight with you guys. From what I see of him on the field, plus his PFF grades, I mean, he's not killing it. Trust me, I was excited about Solo, but it's not happening, right? Like it doesn't seem like he's taking that next step. I know he does a lot of, social media and what do they call it? The like how athletes can make money off their brand now. Like I know he does a lot of that. I would just say like maybe he needs to worry a little less about that and a little less about being a star football player. So Larry, Keithy and Kincaid are mismatches and we capitalize for sure. But until we get thrown to wide receivers on a regular, it'll be hard to get 4-star recruits to go to the U. Yeah, that's a good point, Larry. And like we were just chatting about, is it a talent thing? Is it a coaching thing? I think you really need to wonder. I think if there's anyone that's in the room right now that I would imagine would be the guy to take the next step, it would be Vele. I think Vele really shined at times, and Cam Rising is such a clutch, break a tackle, scramble out, make a play, and launch one. And I think Vele played so well off that last year that I really would not be surprised to see that connection really grow and to see Vele take that next step. Scott says, I went to the Rose Bowl. It is as advertised. Such a great experience. Well, Scott, I'm very jealous. I wish I would have went to the Rose Bowl. I can tell you it was something I absolutely wanted to do. Maybe next time, man. So Justin TYH, prob switch to corners, one of the easiest switches you can make in football. I can see that after what happened at the end of last year. Justin, I'm not sure who you're talking about, Justin. Who are you talking about? Who would switch to corner? Are you talking about the athletes? The athletes we got who would switch to corner? I think that's what you're referring to. Larry, I agree. Some of these kids are probably going to go to corner. Yeah, actually, I don't know if you guys remember the interview we did with Teo Johnson. Super high level athlete. Really, okay. Justin is talking about the athletes. Yeah, so super high level athlete in Teo Johnson. And he actually brought it up in the interview that they're considering switching him to corner. Like, he didn't say it's a strong consideration, but they're going to try him out there too, which makes a lot of sense. I think someone's going to shine as a freshman in this receiver room. Honestly, guys, I feel pretty confident saying we're going to see a freshman wide receiver hit at least 400 yards, but we'll see. ICR. ICR, good to have you in the chat. Do you think teams will start keying out on our tight ends? We may start to need our wide receivers. Honestly, ICR, I think if any defensive coach last year was worth anything, they were already keying our tight ends, right? Like, the issue was it was such a there's a reason we were going in on the tight ends and the run game so much. Think about that. When these tight ends when you're running the ball really well, these tight ends are smacking you in the mouth with the run blocking. And then when you do decide to play action, they bite on the run. They kind of have to brace for impact when the tight end comes up to block them, and the tight end can just sneak behind him. I'm sure that they were, keying in on the tight ends. I really doubt that that people did not realize how good that tight end room, because it was the best in the country. Debatable, but I'm not sure who the other room would be that you'd be debating. Justin, do we still have Money Parks? I do believe we have Money Parks. If someone else knows something else, drop it in the chat. McKay, for sure. He also has a lot of routes designed to open up space for other tight ends or wide receivers. So I think you dropped this when I was talking about maybe Vele, or not sure, or maybe it was meant to someone else in the chat. All right. AP, I'm not sure. Have you been in here before? Good to have you if you haven't. And if you have, welcome back. Are there different recruits other than Clark and Hano recently? Yeah, absolutely. So we had Matt Howard the week before. And I want to say there was someone else. Am I missing somebody, guys? Let me check you know where you go. If you want to know if we signed somebody, you know where you go. You go to the Utah Utes Football Digest. Let me take a look. All right, let's see here. That was kind of corny, huh? All right. Clayton Isbell. We got the transfer. Clayton Isbell from Illinois. Something Illinois. But yeah, if you haven't checked him out, AP, obviously don't leave the live stream yet, but I know that was a big talk last week. Clayton Isbell is going to be a beast at safety. I'm not sure if his coverage is going to be amazing, but it looks decent, and his ability to get in the box and stop the run looks really, really good. So very exciting guy, Clayton Isbell. Check him out. But yeah, Mac Howard too, big time quarterback. All right, Scott Allen, keep that wide receiver room deep. Receivers got injured a lot. Plus, you can always rotate 3 or 4 in every other play. Yeah, absolutely, Scott. Yeah, let's keep it really deep. Let the talent shine. Keep rotating them out. Find those mismatches, right? There's only so many corners in a room. Eventually, we're going to find their bad corner that has to match up with one of our good wide receivers, and it's going to be a bad Saturday evening for him. Kyle Witt, hello, Utah man. Kyle, I know you comment on a lot of the videos. Nice to have you here, man. Thank you so much. 22 forever. I think Clark Phillips will be something special. He is small, but really strong and athletic. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Clark Phillips is going to be really good. I think, if anything, Clark Phillips might get drafted next year. I do believe he is draft eligible next year. So if he has a real, breakout, I'd say that last year was a somewhat of a breakout year for him. But this year, the expectations are high. And if he lives up to those expectations, I mean, the ceiling's really high. He's going to be one of the leaders on a really good defense here at Utah. Oh, McKay, you were talking about Solo. So let me bring that back up then. So for sure, he also has a lot of routes designed to open up space for the other tight ends and wide receivers. So I think you were talking about Solo here. Hey, maybe you're right. Maybe they use Solo a lot to make space for the other guys. But honestly, McKay, I was watching a lot. I'm really not trying to hate on the guy. I hope Solo takes another step and proves me wrong. But I didn't see it last year. I really didn't. I hope I'm wrong, but I didn't see it. All right. ICR, do you think Travis Broughton could help us at corner coming back from his injury? I hope Mackay doesn't have to play corner again. Oh, yeah. So Travis Broughton, let me get a little bit of water here, guys. All right. All right. So Travis Broughton is kind of a guy that I almost forgot about before. I remember Larry Pilgrim, who's always in the chat. He brought up Travis Broughton. He had some conference honors. I want to say all Pac-12 corner. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong there. But before his injury, he was really good. Yeah, honestly, I would imagine he'll be in very strong contention for the starting corner spot opposite Clark Phillips, if not the guy right away. So that's how I'd answer that. And then Kyle Witt, we need to land Smith Snowden, cornerback in Utah, BYU alum father. Those are tough ones, right? When the dad's a BYU guy. Let's take a look, guys. Smith Snowden. I think I typed in 248. Let's see what happens here. Okay, he's from Skyridge. Let's take a look, guys. Yeah, 5'9", 173 pounds. They got it 50-50 for Utah and BYU. I'm surprised they're not giving a lean to BYU considering his dad went there, right? But check him out for 24/7 Sports. He's got a 90 prospect grade. That's a 4-star grade. A very good player. Let's take a look here. Yes, he's got a few Pac-12 offers, right? Stanford, Utah, Arizona. He's warm on all these schools, so we'll keep an eye on him for sure. It's a good one to bring up. We'll definitely keep an eye on that one. Hey, and then just to touch on it again, guys, I see a lot of people watching. Make sure you guys like the video. It gets it out to more fans. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. And if you want to, join in the chat, guys. We have a lot of fun here in the chat, and I am willing to answer any questions you guys have. That's what makes this fun. So, awesome. McKay, JT Broughton will be our #1 DB next year. Calling it right now. Hey, I'm not going to argue with you. I mean, the ceiling's there. I'm going to stick with it being Clark Phillips. I think he had a sensational year last year. Don't forget, really his only bad games, maybe there were 1 or 2, but the real bad one was going against Drake London, right? And I'd say that was more like crazy idea to put a freshman against Drake London. So, Larry agrees with you, McKay. Or I don't know if he agrees that he'll be the #1, but yeah, he's going to be a good corner. Larry's the one that called me out the other night when I was saying we didn't have. This is like a month or 2 ago, but when I was saying we didn't have anybody at corner. So good job, Larry. Scott, we don't anybody with BYU roots. I think you mean we don't need anybody or don't want anybody. I would still want him. I wouldn't say I wouldn't want him. All right, McKay, Broughton is a better tackler. Yeah. I guess we'll see. All right, but with that, guys, let's move on to the next topic. Okay. All right, so did anyone catch this article about Andy Ludwig talking about the quarterback too? Have you guys seen that? Let's pull that up. I heard me talking about. If you guys were here when I first started chatting, I was car shopping tonight. Bad time to be looking for a car. If you guys are in my shoes, it is. They're just you really can't get a deal unless you really know what you're doing. So, but anyway, so let's take a look here. So this article was first published on the Utes Insider. There are a bunch of intriguing storylines for Utah, reigning Pac-12 champions. All right, so which is between this is going to be the main QB2 battle is going to be between Jaquindon Jackson and walk-on Bryson Barnes. I'm surprised they're just completely discounting, Nate Johnson, Brandon Rose. I mean, those are talented players that are coming in here. Especially like, no offense to Bryson Barnes, I thought he looked good in the Rose Bowl. He made that one big play, but not a superstar arm on Bryson Barnes. I'd probably go on a limb and say the other two guys, Rose and Nate Johnson might have better arms than Bryson Barnes. Obviously, he's been in the system a little longer and he'll know it a little better, but I thought both of those guys had better arms than he did. ICR asked, is Nate Johnson here for spring practice? No, he is not. But if you guys don't follow Nate Johnson on Twitter, make sure you do. He posted a video of him running the 100-meter dash in a 10.47. If you guys know about the 100-meter dash, a 10.47 is like as good as it gets in high school. Like, honestly, I'm guessing he's going to have scholarship offers for track. That's really fast. I won't touch too much more on it, but I just want you guys to know, I feel like we're sleeping on Nate Johnson here. This kid is a beast. One of the best athletes that's come to Utah with what he can do with the ball in his hand. All right. Boom. Okay. Not the greatest article in the world. It's a great this is from Ludwig. It's a great competition right now. Both guys are working really hard. Jaquindon has done a lot of good things in the offseason in terms of tightening up his motion, and he's showing some repetitive accuracy. He had some live work Tuesday with some quarterback runs. It was real positive. Bryson Barnes continues to be a great operational guy, great system mastery. He's working on his repetitive accuracy. It's a neck-and-neck battle. I'm fired up to watch it each day. It kind of reminds me of last season, right? Where it was like sometimes Jaquindon would randomly go in, but then when it was time and they needed a guy, it was Bryson Barnes. So, all right, I think he could change the wide like Covey. Not as good as Covey though. Honestly, who knows? I would be surprised, guys, that if we get a 4-star quarterback that if you guys haven't watched Nate Johnson's film, make sure you do. He has a really good arm. He's not just a runner. Just so you guys know, he really has a good arm. Plus, he's an elite athlete. So I am doubting that we're going to just move him to wide receiver, but maybe, he gets into camp and that's just where he shines. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'd just be surprised. I mean, he's one of the, top 15 recruits Utah's ever gotten. All right. All right, let's go to the next thing here. Boom. All right. McKay says Nate is for real. Yeah, honestly, I think it'd be unless they like try him out at receiver and he's just a straight superstar very quickly. I think it'd be a really big mistake to just switch him to receiver and not take his potential at quarterback really serious, right? I think that'd be a mistake on their part. I think Nate is for real as well, McKay. All right, so. Let's take a look here. Is Utah becoming tight end U? Thanks to the production of Brent Keithy, Dalton Kincaid, and Cole Fotheringham in recent seasons, and thanks to the way Utah is positioning itself in its offense, the Utes are establishing a reputation for being a destination for tight ends. USC transfer Muner McLean, who has moved from wide receiver to tight end during the winter, said Utah is becoming tight end U. recruits, among others, are taking notice of what the Utes are doing with the tight end spot. Walker Lyons, if you guys don't keep an eye on Walker Lyons, you should be. We're right there in the race, right? They're talking about Walker Lyons here. But seriously, guys, tight end you, right? Wasn't he top 3? Yeah, I do believe he was, McKay. I know he was in the Elite 11, and he's referring to Nate Johnson, just so you guys know. I don't know if he was top 3, but he was in the Elite 11. This is like one of the best quarterbacks we've ever gotten here. He's a big deal. All right, but yeah, honestly, I think Utah is really poised to become tight end you. I'm not sure. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not sure if Walker Lyons is going to be coming to Utah. You guys know how that goes, right? You never know what's going to happen, but sometimes you get a vibe from someone and you're just not sure if it's really going to click. So hopefully it happens, but who knows, right? Who knows if that's going to happen? With that though, I really hope that he does come to Utah. That'd be a big get for us, especially with such a great tight end room like we already have. That would mean he could come in his freshman year and maybe, be an immediate contributor. So that'd be cool. All right. And then with that, guys, let's all right, Larry, Utah's becoming linebacker you. Hanson, Barton, Lloyd, Bernard. Since 18, every linebacker is in the league. Sewell may be the exception. Honestly, Larry, from what I'm reading, I think Sewell will be in the league. I don't know if he's going to be. I think there's a really good shot he gets drafted. But even if he doesn't, he's going to be an undrafted free agent. You guys know I'm really big on PFF. PFF has him as the 158th best prospect in the draft, which would put him in like the 5th round. So I can't imagine him getting outside of the 7th. I mean, you really never know, but I'd be really shocked if he's not an undrafted free agent at the minimum. So it's kind of how I feel about Sewell. I think there's more to be desired with Sewell. He's got to fine tune some things, but outside of that, it should be great for him. And with that, guys, let's go to the next little article I've got here. This is kind of a fun one, right? I'm sure something we don't always like to think about. It's about Coach Witt. And who should replace Coach Witt once he calls it a career? Let's make that the banner here for the chat, right? All right. All right. Who should replace Coach Witt when the time comes? Honestly, I'm going to be completely straight with you guys here. I really feel like who should replace Coach Witt when the time comes, guys? I'm in the Morgan Scalley camp. I would like him, but honestly, Witt's also impressing me a lot. I mean, Andy Ludwig. I know he's not always getting the love from everybody, but look at that run game, guys. I mean, that offense we saw, at least the second half of last year, some of the best offense we've seen in Utah football history. It was really, really good. Don't forget, our defense got straight up destroyed in the Rose Bowl, and we were still in it to the very end because that offense just lit it up. It looks like everyone's kind of on the same page. Scally, Larry Pilgrim says, ICR, my guy Morgan, that means Morgan Scally. Rage Onion, Morgan, it's Morgan Scally. And then McKay, don't think Andy wants to be a head coach. Maybe he doesn't, right? But either way, I would want to keep both of those guys, right? If Witt were to leave, I wouldn't want to lose either one of those guys. That'd be pretty sad. Larry says, Urban Meyer himself said Scally is the guy who would take Utah to the next level. I have heard Ludwig will retire with Witt when he retires. I'm going to be straight with you here. I know, Urban Meyer did a lot for Utah, but not sure how much I value his opinion right now. But I do agree that Scally is good. Coach Shaw would be a great choice in my opinion. Also, yeah, I'd say it's a long shot, but it's a good point. Rowan, first comment of the night. I think you've been here before though, right, man? Scotty would be good. Brian Johnson could be in the in the mix as QB coach right now with Jalen Hurts. Okay. Well, that's that, guys. So that's kind of all I wanted to talk about here. Let's see if they have any. Oh, there's Morgan Scally. Oh, Brian Johnson, you were just talking about. I think someone just said Coach Shaw in the chat as well. Current Weber State head coach. I don't see that happening. Yeah, but outside of that, guys, I'm gonna take this off the screen, and I'm gonna open it up to the questions here. So feel free, guys. If you have any questions, make sure you drop them in. Let's just take this next few minutes and just go for it, right? All right, let's take a look here. Questions. Where am I from, McKay? So I am from Las Vegas, Nevada. I don't live in Las Vegas now. I live in Utah. I live out in Spanish Fork, but I am from Las Vegas, Nevada. So not too far from you guys. Scott, do you like our chances at Florida? Yeah, I do. I think it's a scary game. If I'm being straight with you, I think it's a scary game, right? It's one of those games, high level talent. Sometimes we come out real slow, right? Like if we look the way we looked against Weber State, we're not beating Florida. And I know a lot of people think Weber State was like this huge victory, but they're not on our level of competition. And the way we looked against them just wasn't right. It wasn't where we should be. And make sure as you guys are in here, make sure you guys like the video. If you are enjoying the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hop in the chat, guys. Let's have some fun. Ask some questions. Kyle Witt says Brian Johnson should be the first call. ICR, do you think Urban could have won a national championship with us if he stayed? Was Utah not good enough to win? I mean, I think there's a chance, right? I think we had a moment there. We looked like the 2008 year, I believe it was, where we beat Alabama. We were probably the best team in college football. So I would say yes. I mean, you never know what would have happened, but I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see the next one. What current Utes players do you think will make it to the NFL? Ray Junion, if you could just clarify the question. Are you talking about Utes players that play for the Utes now? Or are you talking about Utes players that are going to be in the draft this upcoming year? Because technically they wouldn't play for the Utes now. I'll answer it. Just make sure you just tell me which one you're talking about. Maybe you're talking about all of them. Just drop it in the chat. Tell me which one you're talking about. Scott Allen, how concerned is everyone with USC? How concerned is everyone with USC? Honestly, they're the top ones that I'd be worried about. I think they're a really talented team. Maybe they're a little sloppy this year. Go like an 8-4 because they just don't have the continuity because of all the new talent. But honestly, a lot of these guys are from Oklahoma. A lot of these freshmen were, pipeline guys for Lincoln Riley just to go to Oklahoma. So I'd be worried about them. I would be. They're definitely up there. If there's a team that's going to beat us next year, I would imagine that one of those teams should be considered is USC. Don Green, is Ethan Calvert going to play this year? Starting. Is Ethan Calvert going to play this year starting? I've heard a lot of different stuff, right? I've heard that Ethan Calvert could be starting. I've heard that his injury might be rough, but I'd say it's leaning more towards the good side of things, Dom. And Dom, by the way, man, I don't know if you ever commented on the videos, but thanks so much for joining in the chat. Good to have you here, man. And McKay, I think we will prepare for Florida how we did Michigan in 2015. Ray Daniels, so you were just clarifying the question there. Utes players now. So Utes players that are right now. So this is not including Devin Lloyd. This is not including Nephi Sewell or any of the other guys that declared for the draft. So my top guys that I'd say are not only likely to be drafted, but could be really high draft picks. So I'm going to give you one that I think not a lot of people are really giving him the credit where it's due. It's Brayden Daniels, the guy that's going to be playing left tackle for the Utes this year. He's one of the best offensive tackles in college football. Offensive tackle is one of the most valuable positions in all of college football. And I would not be shocked if Brayden Daniels were to be a first-round pick one day, this next year even. I mean, if he follows last year up with another year, even in, the same conversation, he's going day one or day two. Absolutely. All right, Scott, concerns about the O-line in 23. I haven't done my homework. Are we still solid at that position? I mean, as far as I know, we are. I mean, we picked up a couple good freshmen this year, Olsen and Tyler Knack. They both seem like they have a lot of raw talent, and I forget which one it was. One of the two looks like he could be a contributor very soon, right? So I would say I'm not too concerned about it. I know we have a couple young, good guys on there. And you got to remember, only the guys that are really big time stars declare for the draft, right? They leave early. The other guys, they stay around. And then if you're a good run blocking offensive lineman and we need somebody, the transfer portal is going to point you in our direction. If you know how to run block and you want to, go to a team that's going to showcase your skills, it's going to be Utah. So, all right, I already touched on that for you, Ray Jungin. Let's say Brayden. I'll give you one more. Brayden Daniels and Clark Phillips. Those are going to be the two for me. Honestly, though, but there's a list, guys. We have a lot of good players. We got Cam Rising, Tavion Thomas. I just think you know how it is with running backs. With Tavion Thomas, who knows where he gets drafted? He'll get drafted. I mean, if he follows us up with anything in the realm of what he did last year, he'll get drafted. But running back's very devalued position. Kind of like quarterback, even though quarterback, you can get picked really early in the draft. If you're not one of those 3 to 5 guys, you could drop drastically far in the draft. Let's see here. All right, next question. So, Justin, depends on how much they mesh this year. ICR, if Devin Lloyd could be a top 10 pick, could that bring in some 5-star linebacker recruits? Does that happen often? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, does it happen often for us that he's a top 5 pick? I'm going to be clear, though. Devin Lloyd's probably not going to be a top 10 pick, but, being a top 10 pick is not, the end of the world. It's not like if you're number 12 instead of number 9, it's just over, right? Hey, I wanted to share something with you guys real quick. Just a thing that I like to use. So it's called Yada Bank. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. I just figured I'd share it with you. If you want to support the channel, if you don't stress about it. Keep dropping the comments in the chat. And you totally don't have to do this, but basically what it is a savings account that I use. And you get little like lottery tickets that can add up to, a lot of interest. And, most savings accounts, they have no risk, which is attractive, but they have no real reward either, right? I think the average in the US is like 0.06 for a savings account. If you guys have any interest, if you have interest in saving money, getting interest on it without, this is more for like, you're going to buy a house in a year, you're going to buy a car in a year. So you're putting money aside. You guys can use the code Utah Utes. You get 100 free tickets. And basically what it does for you, it's all caps, just Utah Utes. What it'll do for you is it'll put you in these raffles where you can win a bunch of money, right? You could win a Tesla. You could win $10 million, and you can't lose money. You can only gain money. And I actually really believe in this company. This is something I think is really cool. Use the promo code Utah Utes if you guys want to try it out. Super cool company. They have an app, and you can win a lot of money. But realistically, you're probably not going to win a ton of money, but you'll gain good interest on your money. I think they average about 4%. If you guys know anything about that, it's a really good rate. So, yep, Yada Bank, promo code's down there, Utah Utes. So make sure you check them out. All right. Laura, thanks for jumping in. Laura says, hi. Hi, Laura. Good to have you here. And then, a lot of questions while I was doing that. All right. Justin says, I can't wait to see Diabate play. Yeah, I'm excited for Diabate to play too. Hope that works out. But let's also be clear, I kind of broke it down. He's high risk, high reward. There's no guarantee this guy is going to be a starter, Justin, just so you know. PFF grades were pretty rough the past 2 years. So I'm not sure if he's transferring because he's worried he's not going to play or if he's transferring because of the coaching change. But we'll see what happens with him. Kyle Witt, Gabe Reed was a nice addition. Gabe Reed was a very nice addition. Gabe Reed looked really good. So maybe not an elite player, but a very good role filler, a guy that should come in and, make some plays right away. Kyle Witt says Kump was a beast as a freshman. I always get comments about Kump. Jared Kump, I want the best for him. So hopefully that works out. I never looked at his PFF grades, but that's definitely, something to take a look at. I'll make sure I remember to take a look at that. Scott says he seconds the Gabe Reed pickup. I agree. I like the Gabe Reed pickup a lot. Kump and Daniels will be awesome at the tackles. I hopefully Kump's going to be the starting right tackle this year. Brayden Daniels is the starting left tackle. That'd be a mean duo. And we got Laumea, I think that's who it is, in the interior, which would be nice. 22 forever. Morgan Scally is basically a clone of Witt. We will be fine. Yeah, I like Morgan's my favorite for the job as well. Larry Pilgrim, what did you take on Ganther so far as a running back coach? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't have that much of a take on it, but I know Alex Markham, a guy that works for Rivals that I, enjoy talking to, and he gives me some knowledge about what's going on. He seems to really like Ganther as the running back coach, so I'll take his word for it, and I'll ride with that. And then Rowan, out of all the QBs in college, where do you rank Rising? I think he's borderline top 5. Good chance to go in the early rounds next year. Yeah, Rowan, I'm on the exact same page as you, man. Borderline top 5. I think that's a great way to describe it, right? I think the top 2 are very clear, right? It's Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. They're obviously the top 2 in college football heading into next year. But, Cam Rising is right in that mix of that next 5 to 10 guys. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in the early rounds, but it's going to need to be another season like last year, but doing it throughout a full season, right? They want to make sure when you're talking about first round, second round picks in the NFL draft, these coaches, these scouts are doing absolutely everything they can to make sure that this is not a fluke, right? That this is really you. You're going to bring this to the NFL. Laura says, hey, Coach Witt, you're the best. I think that guy's name is just Kyle Witt. I don't think he's actually Coach Witt. Kump had to start over Bam the last 2 years until he got hurt. Yeah. And Bam was pretty good, but Bam was also raw, right? So maybe it took him just a little while to, get fine-tuned. But yeah, I'm excited for Kump to come back as well. Would Rising want to stay? Would Rising want to stay for 2023? He could be like Stroud level. I don't know. I think it depends, right? So if Rising plays the season and they're projecting him to be, like day 3, like a day 3 pick, which day 3 means 4th to 7th round, then yeah, I think he'll come back because of how good this season was. Like people want him to hit that ceiling. But I think if he would be projected early day 2, which would be second round, I think that would make him not want to come back. I think that would make him declare. But, you know, you never know with this stuff. Cam Rising for Heisman, Scott, couldn't agree more. I think he's going to be a beast. And on that note, guys, like I said, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys enjoy the content. I love making it for you. And comment in the chat. Really like having you guys here. I enjoy the questions. And seriously, if you guys do have any interest in a savings account or, you know, getting some interest on your money, Yada Bank is great. It's a great way to support the channel and make your money work for you. It's a savings account, which means you don't have to worry about losing money. You can just gain money, and you average about 4% interest, which is a little unheard of with savings accounts, and it makes it fun. Every night at 7 o'clock, they drop the new number, and there's 7 numbers throughout the week. It really is fun. I look forward to it every evening. So if you guys are looking for a way to support the channel, that is a great way to do it. I would really appreciate it, guys. And it goes a long way, you know, to help me keep making the content here. Larry, good night from Florida. Go Utes. Absolutely, Larry. Good night to you too, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's awesome that you're always here from Florida. You know, we start pretty late your time. So good having you, man. Enjoy the swamp. All right. I see a bad moon rising. Honestly, during football season, when Cam Rising was on that, you know, just going nuts, especially like after the Oregon game, I was playing that song on the way into work. I got like a 20-minute drive. I work in Orem. I'm out here in Spanish Fork. Like I was playing that song on the drive to work all the damn time, dude. I was so like, it's weird. It's kind of just a fun song, but it got me really hyped when he was going up. ICR, that was clever. Very clever. Very clever. All right, guys. Well, that is going to be it for me. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to keep it coming to you guys. And if you guys do have any interest in using Yada Bank, which is awesome, I couldn't recommend it more, use the promo code Utah Utes. It helps the channel, and it's good to help out. So that is it, guys. From me, thanks so much for your time. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Let's do it again next week at the same time, Friday night at 8 o'clock. And on that note, I am out, guys. Go Utes.